print screen it.
That's perfect. It's yeah.
That's the scariest thing of Halloween. Alec was so terrified. He left.
Wait a second. All right. So, well, oh yeah, Alec has left, so it's waiting for him to come back.
So basically, continue.
But are we not also waiting for Pat as well?
Oh yeah, I assume Pat's on his way, seeing as it's his film.
Yeah, I'm sure Pat's on the toilet.
Tell me you got the print screen.
Hey,
you made
dude.
it. Yeah.
Oh, look, very nice.
Hey,
Robert.
Manuel.
Robert, tell me you got the print screen.
Oh, I didn't, but it might be on YouTube now.
Oh, that's good.
Oh wow, where are you, Emmanuel?
Yeah, well, what's that?
He's looking mighty fine in a turtleneck, I'll tell you that.
He's got he's with the vibe. He's got that 70 to 85. Perfect.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
That's fine, man. That's cool.
Okay.
Cool. Let's do this. Thumbs up. Yeah.
I
It's like, yeah.
like when Camilla was like, and Emmanuel was like,
Yeah. All right.
I sense you're in your element this month, Dan. Don't know.
Always.
No, you're not always in your element.
Always.
No,
Halloween.
it's not always Halloween.
I wish.
What shirt are you wearing, Dan?
It is a Rick and Morty t-shirt.
No.
Uncle Rick.
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, I had a prediction for what your Big 20 is going to be.
Is it Rick and Morty?
Yeah,
No, like
Oh.
season 1.
Wait, what?
I'll send you a message.
The only problem with this pumpkin is that it's got the light in it is just solid white, so you can't really see. But it should be orange or it should flicker.
I mean, as long as you, I mean, if you put it in your bedroom and have sex, I mean, it doesn't matter for the film's sake, you know.
Yeah, well,
are we
that's-
not? Are we not going to talk about like the pumpkin that was in like in the bedroom?
Yeah, the pumpkin that was watching them do it. And it was like,
Yeah, well, the random
Hey.
pumpkin that was there, it was like for no reason, right? It was like,
I was like, Simon, you got shit on your mind, man.
well,
I was
think
watching
I'm-
Sorry,
I
sorry.
feel like I've. That's cool. That's actually quite cool, actually.
Oh, wait, does it turn on? If I turn on. Hey, oh no.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary about Halloween, and one of the production guys was like, "Yeah, it was really difficult to find pumpkins," and I was like, "But you found so many."
what do they mean? They squashed one at least. They must have
Yeah.
been like 5 takes.
But I did notice the pumpkin that got squashed was a lot smaller than the one he was carrying.
Oh yeah.
It was. Oh, he wouldn't have squashed it. 'Cause that was a big fucking pumpkin.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
I think I've scored it the lowest out of everyone here, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
just
gave it
like
like
them.
Fucking
Yes.
6 for story, and then I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like because of like the plot points in the story, I feel like it really took the enjoyment out of it for me, and I was like, fucking hell, it's like, yeah, Dan, that is what I felt about the story. Just bad
sucked.
story, bad.
Going into this week, I was like, I'm probably going to score Halloween like 9.7. And then I was watching it and I was like, no, this is a bit silly actually.
It's good, but it's like not like when I go into it more, like I'll say it's like much similar to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's so influential and so iconic. At the same time, it doesn't quite have like real nuance and depth to it, but it's still something I really appreciate.
Dare you.
It's still I appreciate it a lot because it did so much for the genre compared to.
Humphrey, did you
everything
think there
else.
was depth in this?
Yeah,
I think it is so much good in it. It's just not quite something that maybe because I didn't see it as young as some of you guys did. Maybe that's
Hell.
I hope you guys are happy. 'Cause I fucking broken this.
but it's a
Oh
good
my God. Oh my god.
It's good.
All right. So, should we actually try to? Oh, that's
Right. Well, we're not gonna. Well, it's good because Ebony won't watch the stream.
Oh,
So-
I got.
Oh, Pat's on the toilet, by the way.
Wait, is he
that,
fucking-
that was assumed.
Yeah, you see, he's
Guys.
he's posted a photo of himself on the
We
toilet.
got. We got.
okay. I don't need to see that. That
No,
really
you-
would
you-
be a
you
fucking
don't want-
Halloween horror thing.
Guys, there's
He's got a
lightning.
stack of 3 toilet rolls behind him just in case.
That's great. Where are you?
I got the spooky lightning. To watch.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like we could just talk about like the credits. They spent a good couple minutes for credits and title sequences again.
Yeah, good old titles.
You know what? If you've seen the newer ones, they've actually got really good title cards because like the pumpkin actually changes.
It like evolves or like changes. and-
That's the conversation
I
for
get,
someone, isn't it? Yeah.
I get the idea. Your standards are pretty low.
And pumpkins. Yeah.
Or
That's
there's,
a different pumpkin than before.
no, but there's one of them where the pumpkin actually comes out of the other pumpkin, so it basically just like emerges.
Oh, pumpception.
Yeah,
Innovative.
yeah, pretty much.
It
Okay.
broke the ground. Fucking Pat having a fucking shit.
He always picks his times, doesn't he? Like 10 o'clock.
I think he just doesn't despite. Honestly, he's just like Alec will be on this at 10 o'clock. He'll give Ben a bit of shit for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna now sit on the toilet at fucking I don't know, 9 o'clock. That way I definitely won't be on time. So thanks, Pat. Emmanuel just went from being in a club to out in the wilderness.
In a club.
In a club. Out in the woods.
Simon, have you decided whether you're going to do a good double bill or a bad double bill?
It's hard to explain my double bill, I guess.
That's a good start. Like that's
Because
I'm
like
already on board.
if like in the context that I will explain it, it makes sense, but only because I explained the context, like properly explained the context, you're right? Because like if you
It's
saw
just
this as a
bad.
double bill, like if you saw this like on a DVD about these two films, you'd be like, why are these two films together? It makes no sense. But like I would have to properly explain the context of why it is. But I feel like the two choices for my double bill are actually they're both really good. They're actually really good films. They just don't really go together unless you have like my twisted mind to put the context together.
Oh god.
Well,
They're
I
both-
mean,
no, they're really no, they're good films. They're like very good films, and it's
Yeah.
just like I just you wouldn't put them together, right? It's just like it's just like not something you expect to see together. You like, I'd be like, when you first see it, you'll be like, wait, what? Why? But then after I explain it, then you go,
Why?
Get you.
Where?
Why?
Dan, look at the chat on here. It's my prediction for your Big 20.
Big 20.
What's the big 20?
Yeah, your next pick.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What? Where you posted it?
I love
That's-
chat on Zoom.
Oh, on the Zoom
I
chat.
thought you were reacting to what we're posting.
That's such a you fucking reaction. It's like, oh my god.
It's,
Oh
no,
my
it's not.
Oh, it's not. No,
It's totally not that.
totally not.
No.
Interesting.
That film's on the same level as this film, but slightly worse.
Oh.
Oh, I've got another idea.
I can't wait until I get to like my 10th film and I pick like one of those films that everyone's on everyone's list and everyone gets pissed off that I picked it.
That's elective awake question.
I love films, but I hope you don't.
No. Well,
Oh, that's 3 yeses I've got wrong now.
you're going to horror. It's much more. Let's say, why do you could class it as a horror?
How can you be too horror?
He's put Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Classics.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
But,
it's
Oh,
fucking-
are you a bit more alternative, I guess, in your choices, as we say?
Well,
no,
it-
Oh, I don't know. He did pick Back to the Future.
Rob, you must know what one of my favourite films are.
Halloween 2, I don't know. What the fuck are you choosing?
It's not a horror.
Yeah.
You've had a guess for like a while. You brought it up like many times.
Jurassic Park.
Horror that's not a horror.
A horror that's not a horror.
Wait, is it that?
Yeah, it has to
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I thought you was doing that for the goat round.
Oh, was that not goat? Oh,
No.
it is the goat. Oh,
be. Well,
I got to
might
pick a
as well
different
pick now.
film. Oh, okay. If that's the case, then yeah, I know what I'm going to pick.
Oh, it's changed it. Oh no.
Okay.
Well, it's
you
a good
better
job we
pick
had this
Jurassic Park.
conversation.
I couldn't remember when the goat round was.
Well, when is Goat Round?
It's the special round in summer 2023.
Yeah, it's all about goats. Like, you have to think of satanic films, right?
We'll tell you when it
I-
is next.
I tried to line it up with the anniversary of Film Club, so it'll be like June kind of time.
Oh, cool.
Oh, guess what? Ben had a sneaky kind of like guess on my pick.
What
Oh,
did
yeah.
I
Said-
I
he
spoiled.
said he said goat.
Oh yeah, the goat. There's a goat in that. Yeah, that's
No,
right.
no. There's another film with a goat in.
Oh no.
Here we go.
I'm not saying anymore.
Yeah.
But Pat, finally,
We got all night.
He's empty.
we're only half an hour late.
Eh,
Ben got here on time for fucking once.
Oh my god, I just see
Okay.
Alex t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Contrivances.
It should be foreign.
You're a
Oh,
contrivance.
what the fuck, man?
I'm
It
not
just-
foreign. I'm only a quarter Scottish.
You're a contrivance.
I think you find it's pronounced contrivance. Anyway, Pat, why'd you pick this film?
because I want to.
Cool. Ben, what did you think?
No,
It's good.
Ah,
no, we. I think we had a conversation about the lack of John Carpenter films. And I sort of pleaded for the Halloween pick, so I could have an excuse to pick this, which sort of is probably my favorite horror film of all time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's for me. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but for me, it's the film that really began the slasher genre. I don't know if there was films before it, but for me, it sort of opened my eyes to this whole genre. There's been a lot of crap, as I've said, like over the course of Film Club, that horror is 90% crap, but you get 10% gems. Which is not to say that there's not a lot of really good films. It's just that there's a lot of horror films and a lot of them are crap.
just for this.
Hot takes being said.
To be honest, that's why I gave it 9.5 for impact rather than 10, because I was like, there are a lot of bad slashers in the world.
Well, I mean, like, if we want to talk about Halloween, right? There's 11 Halloween films. I
13.
don't think all.
It's 12.
Is there 13 now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my point exactly. There's a lot of Halloween films. I really doubt all of them are good, right? Fucking hell, I might be, as Pat said, only about 10% of them are good.
Well,
And-
you could probably count on one hand how many of them are actually good.
You can count on 2 fingers because there are 2.
I'd probably think like 4 are good.
Oh, I don't know. That's very
This
generous.
one, the reboot in 2017, the
It-
first Rob Zombie film, and H2O, I think.
No, the only good ones are this and Halloween 3.
Oh, I thought that was dreadful.
No, Halloween 3 is awesome.
Hmm.
See, this is something we never agree with.
Wait, ain't Halloween 3 got nothing to do with Halloween?
Yeah, Halloween 3 was when it was an anthology series. Halloween 3 is Season of the Witch.
As soon as he said the remake in 2017, I was just like, immediately.
The best thing, there is like 3 number 2 films, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
There's
there's,
more than
3
3 number 2 films.
there's
There's
well,
3 Halloween 2.
Oh
Which
my
makes no sense.
goodness. How does
this
this
is what annoys
exactly?
me. When a reboot isn't actually a reboot, it's a sequel. So why
sequel.
just call it fucking Halloween 12 or something? That's it.
or Halloween, we've run out of ideas.
Oh.
I actually didn't mind the 2018 one. I thought they did some good things in it, but then
It's okay. It's not
they-
like the worst one.
the fucking sequels. I want to see the last one, the Halloween Ends at the cinema for my birthday, and me and Cora were like, "What the fuck is this?"
I mean, I could have told you that. Like, horror
What?
sequels very rarely are good.
Oh, that's
Unless,
a
of
shame.
course, they turn into action films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's the only. I'm obviously talking about Alien and Aliens. That's like the only acceptable like.
I think
sequel
Alien's
window.
more of a thriller. I haven't seen it.
I mean, some would say Terminator and Terminator 2.
Exactly. Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator
Horror
Aliens are the
film?
two
Terminator
examples.
1 is sort of a horror, though I don't consider it as one. It is sort of a horror.
I can't really say it's not because it kind of is because because fuck it's hard no because like I can't no I can agree with that because like horror-esque items, you know, then after this action film, I feel like a lot of films can start off like horror-esque then actiony.
So who wants to give their overall impression of Halloween? One,
It's a
not
tough-
Halloween 13, the Final Fantasy.
So, which one do you want? You want the Rob Zombie one? Do you want the 2018 one, or do you want the 78
We'll
one?
do
which
the
is
one.
like-
We'll do the one I've seen, which is this one.
Oh, yeah.
Have you not seen any of the others, Alex?
No, this was my first foray because Ed is like woefully disappointed in my horror genre exposure. So
Right.
like, you need to watch this right fucking now.
Yeah.
And I like this one specifically because it confirms all my worst fears, because I have a real problem with making sure the door's locked, making sure it was secure. And this one just kind of gives me, I'm just like people go like, oh, you worry so much about your door being locked. And I'm like, you watch Halloween because none of those people fucking worried about their doors being locked and they're all dead. And I'm glad. They're fucking idiots and they deserve to die.
Yeah, because that's pretty much it. Yeah, Halloween.
Michael Myers would have a fucking hard time with me. Fool. I got
Yeah.
I
those.
bet he would.
Just on you saying they deserve to die. Actually, where did I see it? I can't remember if I read it or saw it somewhere now, but I was either reading or watching something where they told this story about a test screening. And you know, there's like loads of instances where Jamie Lee Curtis drops the knife.
Mm.
There was apparently somebody in this test screening who shouted, "You deserve to die."
Oh, that's rude.
But, yeah,
I'm
but
just
like,
saying, if you think you've killed this guy one time and you've dropped the knife next to him, I'll forgive that one. You probably think he's dead. The second fucking time,
Don't.
I wouldn't be taking any chances. I'm taking the knife with me.
It's when she gets out of the closet and she's already stabbed him with the knitting needle, and it's like, I would have you got to give him a few more stabs just to make sure. But nope, he fucking does the old Undertaker sit up and strangle her.
admittedly,
mean,
that
knife
that
crime
was
is-
pretty cool, right?
Knife crime isn't a big thing in America, though, is it? So
Yeah, it's,
Like they'll
Yeah.
treat it like a gun, one shot, and yeah, he's gone, isn't it?
Oh, he took like 6 shots and he still fell out the window and he still fucking got back up anyways. But that's like a
Oh.
whole other thing, I guess. It's so okay. Is it wrong to say when I first watched, as I watched this film, is it wrong to say that this is my like quick intro that not much happened in it as a lot of people think? Because there's lots of shots that just like of the scenery, right? It's like she's walking past, then the shot lingers on for about 5 seconds on the same like doorway or the fucking like or the house, right? Just for like
Well,
5
what
seconds.
about all
too
the
long,
dead
and it's
people?
Like, what's that?
What about all the dead people?
Yeah, but it took so long to get to that point, right? Like the established, like it's supposed to like
That's the
build
first
up the
scene.
creepy factor with him and the heavy breathing, right? But it's like it took so long to get there, and like it took the enjoyment out of it for me, and that's the reason why I've rated it so low, because it's like get to the point, we get to the fucking actual like scary parts, I guess, but because it took so long to get there that I went, this isn't scary. This is fucking just stupid. It makes no fucking sense and it upsets me. That's why story went down, enjoyment went down. Everything else is like, yeah, sure, it's debatable of like the impact and like the quality of like everything else that was made. It's like, yeah, that's good, but still, everything else. It slowly it started off pretty good, then it went. Oh, it's coming out.
Do you feel like you've been spoiled by modern horror? Like, because for me, I think that was paced perfectly. So like, it sort of sets the scene, builds the characters, and then sort of like the last half hour, 40 minutes, shit goes down. Whereas in modern day films, it's like 10 minutes, here's the characters, and then all shit goes down and gets boring towards the end.
I have to disagree on it because it starts off with a decent amount of tension and like creepiness, but then it drops very suddenly about it. Then it's like, yeah, because it went, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're introducing Michael at the beginning, and then the drop off is introducing the neighborhoods where everything goes down. So you can't really have Michael Myers sort of escaping, and then just every person he sees gone boom, 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 boom.
But okay, but the build up of it, right, was. Oh no, okay, no. Let's have other people have a quick intro before we get really into it. Sorry,
you're hurting Humphrey's soul. I can see it. He's not happy.
Go on.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, I am of this film.
Oh shit!
He just ended his whole career.
No, I love it. This film, yeah, it's everything. It's just so well done. Like the fact that you don't see his face, but you see enough to get that kind of like tension, because you know what he is and what he's done, and it's kind of. I feel like this is like a more realistic kind of slasher film, because most of them are just like,
You're next.
Okay, I won't talk about that yet. Just okay, go.
No, but I mean, like in the fact of like he's running around and no one really takes any notice because it's Halloween, so all this stuff's happening, but it kind of seems a bit more. I don't know. I don't know how you explain, but yeah, it's like you can feel like the realism in the terror, if that makes sense. It's kind of you got this man just killing people, and yeah, I don't know. So I love it. I love it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, Rob.
Especially before I carry on, like when he's walking towards her from the other side of the street. I just think that's so great because to other people in the street, it just doesn't really make any sense. But to that person, it's just, pretty terrifying. But yeah, it's pretty much.
Rob, Ben, Emmanuel. Who's going next?
So I don't want to trigger Emmanuel, but I fear I might be about to because I really love Halloween, but this is the first time I watched it since the first time that I watched Blowout. And obviously at the start of Blowout, you've got that what's essentially a parody of the opening of Halloween. And I was kind of watching in the opening and I was like, man, Blowout really got this spot on. And then when it gets to the bit where where Michael enters the bedroom and she's kind of like sat there getting ready, and then she turns around and she's like, Michael. I was like, that is not far off the silly scream from Blowout. and all I could
Oh,
think is,
man.
you know what? What I thought was really cool as a teenager actually is a bit silly. and so from that point of view, I think my impression of it is probably the opposite of yours, Simon, because it kind of started on that note where I was going like, maybe this is a bit sillier than I remember. and then as it went through, and you know, there are some bits that I think are silly, like when Jamie Lee Curtis looks out out of the window and Michael Myers is just like stood amongst her laundry, and like
Oh, fucking hell. Oh,
bits like
that
that. I'm
scene
kind of
makes
going like, oh,
least
that's a bit
sense.
campy.
Fucking
But
pisses me off.
But what really gets me is actually towards the end. So after you've had the sort of like the big climax with sort of, you know, the fight between him and Jamie Lee Curtis, which in itself is a bit silly as well. But after that, when like the perception is that Michael's gone and the threat's over, that's what I find really creepy, because it's like, man, there's all these houses where he's not, but he might be. and that really plays in my head. So yeah, to me it doesn't, and maybe it's how I experience horror and how easily spooked I am. That's for a reason for it. But for me, it sort of starts silly, and then it just builds into this really creepy thing that just leaves me really uneasy at the end. And I still love it. I just, yeah, I think I don't know if it's aging as well as it could.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Benjamin, let's go.
Yeah, like what I said before, I feel like this film is in the same sort of vein as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because it is a film of its time, but it is still quite an iconic movie that has a lot, well, maybe saying a lot to watch for is a kind of a disservice to it, but
Much better, I would say, though. Much better, I would say.
Oh, interesting. I do feel like it's a perfect example of how good a slasher movie could be, in terms of like it does everything what you'd expect and hope it would do, and the setups and payoffs all work. It doesn't rely on jump scares. It doesn't rely on too much kind of like shock value, but it does a lot of build up and tension, which the modern sequels kind of like forgot about. I feel like it is a bit dated in terms of like how it's constructed and how certain actors and characters react to things, which is a bit wishy-washy, you could say. But I don't blame the direction on that more the how things were in the 70s or anything else. But it did a great job in terms of explaining who Michael Myers is, I should say.
Mike Myers.
Also, irony of this film is that everyone's going to go,
groovy. But yeah, it's kind of like how he was set up as a villain is brilliant, because it's kind of like a good representation of like this character is a product of the world he's in, and how people viewed mental health and how they kind of battled with it and how they tried to treat it was kind of like a good example of why it's such a problematic thing, and kind of doesn't. It's one of those things that I think is, if he had better help when he needed it, he might have not turned into the monster he became. But he has society's fault to blame for becoming who he is, if I'm explaining it right. But yeah, that's why he's quite a compelling creature, character, monster, whatever you want to call him.
I thought he was kind of like a Pinocchio kind of character,
Did
really.
you-
I thought he wants to get out, and he managed to get out. And I
He
thought,
did.
oh,
Did you call him a compelling creep?
Creature?
Oh,
He is, but yeah, he
I
is
believe
a
he said
compelling. You
fluff.
could argue he's a compelling creep as well, because you're
Because
fascinated by his like malevolence and his what he
I
does.
So
find
he does creep around
Yeah,
and hide in bushes.
yeah,
yeah,
I find it ironic because he was designed to not be relatable by anyone, or I say by anyone, by majority of people.
yeah. Because you can't see his face, you can't see him emote or anything like that. You just see him as this. All you see of him really is the boy in the beginning. He's just that kid that just has this complete lapse of character and just completely goes nuts. But you can see that you have a slight empathy towards him because you just feel like no one's really helped him, and he has kind of got worse and worse as he's got older, and he hasn't really realized what he is. He doesn't really know who he is, and he's like an animal basically. So I do find that quite a fascinating thing about him.
I'll worry about you, but Emmanuel.
Sorry, I had trouble coming off of mute. I have no sympathy for him, none whatsoever. I will always be impressed by Halloween, like the budget it was made. An independent film like this made that much money. It was that successful. How he, like a tribute, he got Jamie Lee Curtis. That film made her career. The same way Psycho made her mom's career, and it's a lot of this film, which is a tribute to Psycho. Thank you. And there's just a lot of little things like that where I'm like, you know what? Oh, well, it's a Oreo McFlurry. Anyway, there's
Scariest thing.
yes, there's just a lot of things like that.
The perfect like 80s mood, you know, cars, drugs, alcohol, and McDonald's. Fucking perfect.
Oh man, but yeah, I just think, yeah, it was really good. It could have been much worse, and I think at the time as well, I don't know, I thought they did really well, and yeah, I think it's a great classic, and yeah, it did spawn a lot of stuff. But that's the age we live in. It's a postmodern, in it. You're gonna get some good stuff and some crap stuff. So, but yeah, that's my thing. Um, I haven't seen. I think I've only seen maybe one of the ones after this. But not all the way through. So I know barely anything about what the other films have actually covered. But yeah, I think.
Yeah. Because so him as a character, they make him out to be some kind of like demon or some evil entity. And it kind of, they go on with that theme throughout the sequels, and it kind of, yeah, it was an 80s thing where they just went, we're going to do supernatural and just shove it into everything. So Friday 13th, well, especially Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all these other films, it's always been like, oh, it's supernatural. And it kind of like makes it a bit shit because
well, I was going to say, like, the main concept of his character is actually very Christian because he kills only those who have premarital sex.
Oh, yeah.
He's the most Christian person that's ever happened. So premarital sex equals death. That's Halloween. That's all we need to know. That's how it is.
He's out there, Michael Myers in fucking heaven.
Oh man.
Which is funny, really, because his ultimate like end target is like the most Virginial person, like in the neighborhood. But you got you got all like the porn tropes. You got the lady who gets stuck in a window, and you just
that is a weird
about.
That is a weird trope of horror. That I was thinking when I was watching it, I wonder if this is the one that started it, because in most slashers, it's kind of like a rule that if you have sex, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it sounded like a comma and not a full stop.
Sorry, what?
I said Rob's statement sounded like a comma and not a full stop. I thought he was going to keep going.
Oh no, I was just chucking it out there.
No,
And I was
just-
thinking somebody was going to go. Yeah, you're right.
It's like a trope, but it's like the most. It's like one of the top horror movie tropes, I guess. Teenagers having sex, premarital sex, and dying. That's kind of like the whole. I feel like it's happened in every horror movie that ever has that.
I was going to say, like, I feel like this guy must have lucked out. You know, he must have been like, I killed this lady in this house, and then these stupid fucking teenagers just keep coming in here. I'm just going to camp. I'll just sit in here, and they'll keep coming to me, I guess. Like, couldn't believe his luck.
Yeah, because it's just. I mean, okay, I'll start it off first because this is the thing that annoyed me. You guys keep saying he creeped around, right? He drove around very
Yeah.
creepily. But the problem is that he went into that asylum when he was fucking 6. When the fuck did he learn to
Oh
drive?
yeah.
This is my problem.
He makes the
Because I'm fucking trying to
Oh.
learn to drive right fucking now, and I'm thinking, how the fuck did this 6-year-old beat
Well,
me?
it's,
Maybe you should get institutionalized and then you'll learn.
But fucking,
But-
I might as well do. Fucking hell, I'm a fucking
But,
driver now. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ.
I do love
because-
the bit. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, tell me. Go on.
I do love the bit where Loomis is like, but when he says about driving, he's like, "Oh, you must have learned in your institution." It's like they even made a fucking thing about it in the
They
film.
did reference it.
But but isn't that kind of like making it a slightly lazy writing anyway? Because it's like, oh wait, we have the contrivance, but then we're trying to point out the contrivance, and it's like, oh yeah, it's not a contrivance because we're pointing it out ourselves. No,
I
it's
do
still a
fair.
contrivance. It fucking annoys me.
think this is an example of lampshading where you kind of go, we need him to drive. There's not really an explanation as to when he learned to drive. We're just going to kind of have to accept that he can drive. So we have a character. This is weird that he can
Yeah.
drive. And they go, yes. And it's like,
Be fair,
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
we're
like
not-
it gets away with it because it actually addresses it. I
no,
don't-
that's lampshade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true,
no.
but I don't think it like I think there is a problem. Like 100%, you and someone say it does bug me more you think about it. But at the same time, the fact that they did address it makes me think,
Yes.
oh, okay, they are aware, painfully aware this is silly. So I'm going with it. Yeah.
But
To be fair, when I was watching it earlier on today, so I did my second watch today, and Alec mentioned this in the week. He was like, "Where did he learn to drive?" And at the time, I was like, "No, but like in America, most cars are automatic, and automatics aren't exactly hard to drive. Like it's just like driving a go-kart." And I was like, from that point of view, it's fine. And then I was watching it today, and I watched in park, and I was like, "No, I'm still not very good at that."
but
Yeah,
but
it
that's
is an
not
issue.
but that's not even that point in itself, right? Because it goes on to the other car related points of like, did he? Okay, I'll go to this point first. Did he know how to hotwire cars or something? Because like he steals that station wagon from someone else, and he can drive that car. That was one thing. Then he could get into Annie's car, but without the keys. So it does. Did he know how to fucking like pick lock as well in the institution? How the fuck did he get into the car?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and it got because like people forgetting their keys to go to the car has happened. Like people are, especially if you're like as ditzy as Annie is supposed to be portrayed, right? I've done stupid shit before. I was like, I fucking forgot my keys. Okay, I go back into it. I was like, that's happened. But how the fuck did he get into the car?
Okay, that he might have stolen the keys. Like she's leaving them lying around. It's not out of the realms of possibility. He picked them up, used
So
them. to
wait.
door.
No, Alec. She locks the. She didn't remember the keys.
He would have had
Then
to lock
afterwards,
himself in.
He would
her
have to.
car.
He would have went and opened the car, put the keys back into her purse, then go back into the car.
Lock it without her seeing them.
Yeah, he would have had to. He would have had to lock himself in the car. That'd be really funny. If she just never went
It didn't
in.
make sense.
I think it's really done for effect because you understand that she goes to the car, it's locked, and then you see it's unlocked, and you're like, wait a minute, he's in the car.
Oh, that didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, but okay, I
And
agree
like-
with that. That was to bring out, oh, he's in the car, and then afterwards because it was that split second of her like looking at the camera for a second. It's like, wasn't the car locked? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Let's just play with the fucking windscreen, and it just then afterwards she gets strangled and killed.
That'd have been great if she was like on the phone to her boy. Like, I don't know if they're like a thing, but like if she's talking to Paul, and then he says something, she goes, "You know what? Actually, Paul, eat fucking shit. Fuck you. I'm not gonna talk to you ever again. I'm definitely not fucking driving to your place to give you a lift." Bang, and then like, it's just a hard cut, and Mike Myers is just in the back of this car going like, "In a minute." In a
Yeah,
minute.
it's
just like,
That's just the end of the film.
but like this, but the reason why I talk about it like this is because the scene that I was kind of annoyed about was before this. It's when the doctor, I keep forgetting his name.
Loomis.
Loomis? Okay, it's when Dr. Loomis was at the payphone. The scene was shot in completely wrong order. In the wrong order, it should have been he was at the payphone. Then afterwards, he noticed the car. Then he noticed the matchbox, but he didn't notice the body at all. Right? Then he goes off. But it should have been him driving around, noticing the car, noticing the matchbox and the body, then phoning the police. It didn't. The order that they filmed it made no sense at all. Why was he phoning the police then? By convenience, the car was there already with the matchbox. It annoyed me. Then that's the reason why I got score story again and dropped the enjoyment for Scott because it annoyed me too much. It just went. Okay, it made
Yeah,
no sense.
I did question him being at a phone box right by where Mike Myers has just been. But I was like, he's still going to go there. He's still not going to be able to find him immediately. Like, but yeah, I guess it is like quite a coincidence. He just happens to show up. He just happens to stop at this particular phone booth where he like left this other guy. Right?
Or the fact that he's running down the street or walking down the street, and then these kids run out, and he's like, "Oh, he must be in there."
Yes.
It's quite a convenience. It's like, oh, the car's there. We got to go down the road because he might be down the road, and it's like, oh, children screaming makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd go like this. I don't think it's like massively. It's not the most consequential thing ever, but like it is. Yeah, it is a bit backward.
It's because it's all the little things that built up that made it like me not go. It just took me out of like that mindset of like it's only a movie, and it's just like but it doesn't make sense, and it's just like irritated me, and I was like, fucking. At least the music is so amazing. Everyone's got to agree that the music that for this film, just that opening sequence, was fucking spot on.
Not
I
even
can't
just the
actually-
opening sequence, though, because a really cool thing about the music. So, it's just like a repetition of the. None of the repetitions are played the exact same way, and it's one of those really cool things where it's like you don't necessarily notice it, but it just makes you feel like something's not right. And I think that's really cool.
Oh, never knew that.
Yeah, I think on a production level, this is great, and it's like something to kind of recommend about this is like I think I can't remember who said it, but like we're not doing jump scares, we're not doing this like guy turns around, opens cabinet, and he goes to pick something up, and it's like bang! It's like stop.
Well,
Like we're doing like these long takes, and like you're looking for him, and like scenes where you're in the car, you're not necessarily looking at who's talk. You know, like you have two characters and they're speaking to each other, but you're not really paying attention to them. You're looking behind them. You're looking in their rearview mirror, and you're noticing that that's Mike Myers' car.
all right, okay, yeah.
And you're constantly just looking for him and it's like, this is really, really cool. I really like that this isn't spoon fed. This is all stuff, and like that kind of adds to like the menace of it thing when you see him like drive so close to Loomis, and Loomis has no idea that he's just been driven past by Mike Myers. Like, that's really fucking cool. I really like that stuff. You're just constantly on alert, and like I think that's something that's just so effective about this.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's 100% agree with that, because he is in the background. You just have to like look for him, right? And it's like, oh, right now when you see him drive past, it's like he feels that tension. Though there is one thing, right? It's like when shit, it's I can't remember the name of all the girls. It's like Annie, Lauren, and who's the other one? Debbie, but like it's when they saw the car pass by, and afterwards one of them
Aubrey?
shouted something at them, and afterwards the car stopped, and like I thought about that. I looked at it and was like, actually, it didn't matter. It wouldn't matter if it was a horror movie, or an action movie, or like any movie. Actually, it could be real life. Anytime that the car is driving by, then suddenly stops, it's a very oh shit, what have I gotten myself into moment? Because that's always been the thing about it. It's like it's driving along, then goes, someone says something really stupid or shouts something, and it goes, it's like, oh shit. That helped it build up like the tension again. But then afterwards he slowly drives up and again, and it's like, oh, nothing happened. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Just wait.
Well, I think it kind of adds to like the menace there of kind of like, why did he stop? And it's like you get like that little, I don't know, you kind of get that little bit of a thing of, oh fucking hell, I'm about to get into a fucking fight in a minute, and then he moves away. It's like, why did that happen? It's like, oh, it might not be worth his time right now, or like some of it. Maybe he's planning something for later. Like, I think there's a lot of things you can read into stuff like that, and then like it just kind of adds to like the menace of it later. So if you don't have a reaction right in that moment, that's not a bad thing. And I think like having a slow build here really helps it out. And like you do build the thing, and it's all stuff like they're walking along and they're having a normal conversation, and like the conversations are actually like pretty good. I think that they're pretty like authentic, but they don't feel very stapled on. But then they're interrupted by, there's a guy wearing a fucking old William Shatner mask, and he's looking at us, and he's just kind of like not quite had the wherewithal to get behind the bush like right away. He's now got behind the bush, but fuck me, like what the fuck is this? There's this fucking mentally ill person in a fucking mask, and he's hiding behind it. Like,
Okay, but okay, you could almost get away with the bush one, where he's like he could run behind the house, but for the clothes when they're on the laundry, right, and he's staring at her, but the shot of the camera is still her looking at him, and afterwards he suddenly disappears. I'm like, you would have saw where he ran off to, because the camera is literally facing you, watching him, and then afterwards he's gone. Did he like disappear into dust? No, he ran off, and it's like no, and like you saw him run off, and
I would have loved to have seen that film where he just kind of goes like.
then she does like one like beforehand when we said Jamie Lee Curtis's character deserved to die. There was one scene right after that, watching Michael Myers like run away, that made me go, "You're kind of a monster yourself." Is when she went to bed, but she still had her shoes on. I'm like, okay, that's what the fuck is wrong with you? There's like, okay, some people wear shoes in the house that's one thing, right? But like, you don't go to sleep in your shoes. What the fuck?
I have
And when
once
you
before,
do,
Fucking, are you, oh,
but
why?
I was drunk, so you know.
Yeah, but
There's
as long as
something
you
about
had the
Pat's
right
picks.
Huh?
There's something about your picks, Pat. They don't use footwear appropriately.
I thought
You can use footwear as whatever you want.
Oh, well.
Okay, but still, you went to sleep in your shoes because you're drunk. She just
Yeah.
like had a quick nap before she went out, but she's still in her shoes, and I was just like, gross, fucking gross.
What
To be
the-
fair, I do sleep in my socks sometimes, though.
Get
Oh,
out!
we all do that.
Socks is not the same as shoes.
No, nobody does that.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I mean, some people say that socks are less hygienic than having shoes on.
What?
What? What?
Some
Yeah.
people
Either is
say.
bad.
Some people say socks in the windows.
I've been told that they'd accept people wearing shoes without socks on and wearing them around the house than just wearing socks, because socks
Yeah.
apparently sort of brings in a lot of sort of unhygienic stuff.
Well, not
It's
if you
true.
don't go outside.
Hmm?
Yeah, I mean, as
If you
long
don't go
as they're not
outside.
like sticky socks,
Yeah.
are you going to be fine?
The problem you've got is if you wear no socks with shoes on, they just stink your shoes out, and ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rancid and it looks stupid. Rancid.
Well, controversial topic.
Hate it. Ugh. Ugh.
I'm a little lost, but I was just going to add into what Pat said. Yeah, if you wear nothing but socks, it's good. It's a build up ground of like bacteria, athlete's foot, all that kind of stuff. But if you wear shoes, there's a tiny bit more like space for your feet to breathe.
But surely
Unless they're one
you
of those skin those
Well,
skin.
okay,
tight
do you wear
shoes.
socks, just socks outside?
No, that's dumb. I'm talking about in the house. No, you will probably get more athlete's feet. Yes, please. But you'll also then get stabbed by random crap outside and get infections on top of your athlete's feet.
Yeah,
But if
so
you just
why
wear
would-
if you wear shoes with no socks,
The fuck
Okay,
is-
you won't
so
get the
why would you
athlete's
wear
feet,
those
then you'll be
same
good.
shoes that you're wearing outside that stab your feet inside, your bed?
Wait, I'm
What have I
not- I'm not
started?
understanding.
What the fuck is this got to do with Halloween?
I don't get this.
Wait,
How
what
can,
your shoes got stabbed? What?
no, how can socks inside be more hygienic than shoes outside?
Wait.
What?
I'm confused. Like what?
Okay,
we're talking about
I
now.
was saying that she is an animal. She is a monster for wearing the shoes that she was wearing outside in her bed.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Um,
The
More athlete's
one,
feet? Yes, please.
the one in your left hand. Yes, I don't know what
Okay.
is that. Okay, yes,
Okay.
yes. I agree with you, Simon.
Okay.
That's another level. You don't know what you tracked in. I was talking separate of anything like that. I
Okay.
was just like you've got house shoes or house socks or just random stuff outside. Anyway,
I'm glad we sorted that out.
Anyways, so when Dr. Loomis went to the graveyard and he was like, "Oh, he's back," I was fully expecting there to be thunder and lightning in the background, but it wouldn't make sense because it was daytime. But every time someone says that ominous phrase of "he's back,"
He's back.
yeah, but like it was in the daytime when the sun was
No.
still out, so it wouldn't make sense there to be thunder and lightning. But there's always thunder and lightning if it's a horror movie nowadays. When someone says some shit like that.
That being said, I'm going to ignore it completely. I do want to go back to the thing of her looking at him through the window. right? Because before she goes back in the house, she has like this little moment. And I found this really confusing because like she's just walked up and she's seen Michael Myers.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, that's kind of her reaction.
That is definitely a reaction.
That's the Humphrey reaction.
He's kind of not, yeah. He's kind of not had like. He's not kind of aware enough to go like, oh fuck, I should actually be behind this bush. So he moves behind the bush, and then he's like gone, and that. And she's like quite scared, and then she sees some trick or treaters, and she's like, she says, what is it? She says, she goes like, "Hey kiddo, I thought you outgrew superstition," and I was like, that wasn't superstition. There was a fucking bloke in a mask, and you're like just like looking at you.
Wasn't that scene before she went in the house though?
That's before she goes into the house. Then she goes into the house and she looks outside and she sees him standing there and she goes, "Ugh!" And then she gets the call from one of her mates. But I'm like, okay, when you're done with that, call the police. Because if you call the police and something happens later, they'll know to come to you.
The police in this story weren't great, anyways, right?
Whereas if she'd have called and gone, there's a guy in my house and he looks a bit like William Shatner,
Excuse
but like 2020 William Shatner, not like, 1981 William Shatner. He looks kind of like gross and old and stuff. And you go, yeah, okay, fair enough. The police would be more reactive and they'd know where to go.
Yeah, but like they were dealing
whereas-
with kids playing pranks and smoking weeds,
Yeah, but it's just this weird thing where I'm like, did you not have like fucking murderers in 1981? Because I think you did. But like she goes like, superstition, and I'm like, no, this was a guy. This is a fella. He's like looking at you. he's in your fucking garden. Call the fucking police. I don't know. If you'd called the police, maybe things would have gone better. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. But like,
because
it'll
superstitious thing, and I'm like, no, not really.
It was mainly, I guess it could have thought of it like, I don't know, my friend's dad's a cop, so we'll be fine. It's probably what might have
Well,
been.
if you don't tell him bollocks.
Oh yeah, that's true. She didn't
Yeah.
tell him anything at this point.
Anyway,
In any case, yeah, there it goes.
I feel like we put a bit of a downer on this one.
Well, it's not like
No. I meant me and you. I think we have put a downer on this one.
oh yeah. I mean, the film. Yeah, this is the part where I said it got really like low, anyways, because they go to the house afterwards and they're like, "Oh, he's been here. He's at the dog and it's still warm." It could have just been a skunk, and I was like, "That's some very powerful fucking skunk to eat a dog, right?" But fucking nonsense. It's just police officer saying, and he's supposed to be like the captain, right? And it's just like, yeah, no. Essentially, no. He says it could have been a skunk that ate the dog. Okay. Sorry, Rob, you're muted. What did you say?
Yeah, no, I realised as I said it, we've all had days at work like that where you just want to take the path of least resistance, so you blame the skunk.
Yeah. Yeah, but like then afterwards, but he still goes up into the house. Then the window breaks because random thing hits window glass, and he already pulls out his fucking gun, and it's like he was ready to shoot any motherfucker. Really. He's just like so on edge. Just having that gun is like, wait, but he's a doctor, right? He's a psychiatrist, right?
He's Michael Myers' doctor. I'd have a fucking revolver.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure
You wouldn't
doctors
know.
are supposed to take like the Hippocratic oath, right? And they're like supposed to protect life. And he's just like, I'm ready. Well, pop a cap in anyone's ass.
It'd be like if you were Ezra Miller's doctor, you'd go, I don't want to inflict harm, but this motherfucker, he needs to go down.
You fucking. You fuck.
Sorry.
But then, okay, but then after all the nonsensy bits, it actually starts to build up and get better again. And it gets better with the girl who, I guess it's just a thing in like the 70s and 80s where they can just spill a little bit of butter on them and they just go, I'm in someone else's house, might as well strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, naked.
Well, I
Then-
guess, like, you know, if you're having your friends over to fucking like their parents' bed, like, you know, like, yeah, you might as well do some washing.
Yeah, which is the sponsor for today. Tide gets all your popcorn and blood-related stains out easy. Tide. Because the box was so fucking huge, right? And the way she held it right at the camera, it was like, yeah, I guess you had to be responsible for someone, right? It was just like, But yeah, but still, just fucking just strips easily with the big fucking like bay windows and the glass doors just like open. It's like, yeah, she didn't really care if anyone saw her. Then she goes to do her laundry. Then afterwards, she gets stuck in the window. But it's then afterwards, it's still kind of funny. Then afterwards, it's slightly built from there because afterwards she was on the phone. Michael's behind her doing his heavy breathing, going. So it's like, yeah, it's good. It got there eventually.
And can I just say, when she finally gets killed, oh my god, I was so happy. I hate this fucking character. She gets on my fucking nerves. She keeps going through and she's going like, why didn't you wait for me? And I'm like, because you're a cunt. And she's like, why doesn't this dog like me? And I'm like, because you're a cunt. And like, it just all the time, there's not a single line that comes out of this character's mouth where I'm like, you're all right. I'm just like, fuck off. You're the most irritating fucking person.
Yeah.
I hate
And after she says the one thing about the dog was because like it makes a whimpering sound, I just like, finally, the dog must have got like a mate. I was like, no, the dog went. That's not like a happy sound. It obviously was in pain when Michael was strangling it to death, I guess, because like you see like the dog's legs like go limp, which I think if that's a pretty well made effect as well. I don't know how they did that. They must have used someone with the costume to do that because like that's actually quite good actually. I'm surprised that they made it like that. No? Okay.
right.
When
I feel like Simon. I feel like we've been Debbie Downers. Does someone want to say something nice?
Go on, Dan. I feel like this is your time.
Oh,
Go on, Dan.
oh God.
when she died, she had a funny face.
No. No. I think like I'll go to one of my favorite moments, and it's when he goes to get the beer, and you're like, oh, where is he? And then you hear the breathing, and then he opens the fucking door and he just runs at him and stabs him. And I thought that was such a great moment because it's kind of, it shows you that he's got like some supernatural strength because he seems quite a slim bloke, but he's able to pick someone up
Oh, right.
by the neck and then stab them into the wall.
Yeah,
It's just-
with that amazing chef's knife. I want that chef's knife because it can hold a whole fucking person up. No normal knife. I have good knives. as a
Simon,
chef.
you're being nice, okay?
Sorry.
I don't care that the knife is not long enough to support a whole human being and still have the leverage to kick, like go into a cupboard door and then suspend them both off the floor, all right? We're not talking about any of that. We're being nice about it, all right?
Been nice.
Are you all right, Alec?
Stop being nice, Alec. Uncharacteristic.
I enjoy that you
Alex
just ignore-
Alex's character tonight has been a bit of a contrivance.
Oh,
I enjoy that you ignored all the criticism just packed into that. And just went, we're being nice. And he's like,
Yeah.
hey, I've been weird. Saying we should be nice.
like, and then it leads into the bit with the where he opens the door with the bed sheet. I just think that's such a fucking brilliant scene, even though it is quite goofy because it just looks silly. But then you know that that's Michael Myers and not the bloke. And it's I think they play on that a lot, where it's kind of a lot more than all the people in the film do. Like you see him going around everywhere. You know a lot more, and I think that's what makes it such a good film. Is the audience has more knowledge than the actual people do.
Yeah, I mean, you can at least show that Michael Myers has a sense of humor to put on that fucking white blanket and his and Bobby's glasses, I think, and just just stand there, just to stare. It's like, all right, he purposely did that because he was being a bit of a dick about it, I guess. Because just kill your boyfriend, I'll kill you. I'm gonna enjoy myself, but I'll do it. It's just like
that's where the tension comes out. Like we know
that's true.
more than the character does, and it's like I think it's a Hitchcock thing, but like he said, what's more tense? You have two people having dinner with each other and they're talking, and then suddenly a bomb goes off, or there's a bomb under the table. These two characters are talking, and you keep cutting back to the bomb, and the timer keeps running down. But these guys have no idea, and they're still talking because they have no idea. And the bomb just keeps ticking down and down and down. It's like, this one's clearly more tense than the other. And it's like having seen Mike Myers has already killed this guy, and he's standing there. It's like, oh, that's where the tension's coming in. We know more what the character does. She's speaking to him like it's her boyfriend, but it's not. But she has no idea of that. She thinks he's just being weird, and it's like, this is really neat. I like that we haven't done the stupid jump scare shit. We're kind of just building tension up, and we're letting things hang. And he's a really good like horror antagonist. Like he doesn't say a word, but
because
that makes you fixate on him more.
I think what also works is a lot of it is sound cues as well. Like you hear him more than you see him. So like I'm sure it's the bit with the cupboard, and you can hear the breathing, and it's like, oh fuck, they're dead, or oh fuck, what's gonna happen? It just works so well, like in that kind of tension building. There's just you know who it is, and you think in like an hour of film you kind of understand how horrible, like evil this person is, and you've only kind of just met them. And it's like understanding that person is like evil, as he says. But I just think it does really well at just tension building, and I fucking love it.
Good.
But yeah, good film.
Yeah, an interesting little thing. So apparently John Carpenter originally approached Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee to play Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, they both turned it down because of it being so low budget.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, and one of them was like deeply regretted not being in it after it came out, and I was like, oh, what, missed a trick there. And
I think it was Christopher Lee. He said it was like the biggest regret of his career or something like that.
How cool would this movie have been if Christopher Lee had a fucking revolver and he shoots? Like, fuck me, that would have been.
Oh my god, they've added to his repertoire of cool things he's done. He's kind of killed Michael Myers.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys said it, but did you know that this film took like 28 days to production to shoot and literally
really
make?
Yeah,
Just
about
28
20 days.
And 2 of those days were just the opening sequence. Because
Like
they had
even
to
though
like rehearse it so that nothing was in the way of the camera and all of that kind of stuff. And then basically they did it, but they didn't realize that the sequence was longer than they had enough film for. So they had to basically work out a point where they could put a cut in. And that's why you see Michael put the mask on, is so that's where it cuts and then it's a new reel of film.
Well, that's,
Interesting.
yeah,
Nice.
because you can kind of see it because when he picks it up and then it kind of just zooms. That makes sense. It kind of like
Yeah.
speeds up a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there's lots of little cool things like that. Like one of the reasons that the film's quite dark, for example, is because the budget was so tight that they couldn't afford lights.
yeah, but that kind of just makes the
that's great.
it adds to the film.
Yeah, that's like an
It's-
atmospheric choice. Like I think for like video games wise, Silent Hill had that because they had in Silent Hill it's all foggy because they couldn't
Like,
load the
light?
enemies in time. So essentially there was like, oh, but it adds to the atmosphere because by the time you've reached where the enemy would have loaded in, he's behind you, and it's like, all right, yeah, it's fine, it works. It's one of those things where it's like, it's one of those things that like a little happy accidents.
Yeah, that's one of the
It can't-
things that I love so much about this kind of thing. Because like when you've got somebody working on a low budget who like isn't the most experienced filmmaker, like there's all these little bits that are like rough edges, but they're bits that they've had to like think about and overcome. And because of that, you get really cool things like that. Whereas, you know, if the problem didn't exist, then it's something that wouldn't be thought about and there wouldn't be anything to it, kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like how like the best food in the world is always poor people's food because they've had to think about how certain things go together and how they can like create certain reactions and that kind of thing rather than just chucking anything and everything together.
I
True.
think I have a very good Netflix TV show to show you afterwards, then Rob.
It makes me think in terms of the film how originally it was the timeline was over like 7 days, like babysitting murders or whatever. It had a different working title as well, but then there was just like, yeah, that was it, the babysitting murders or something like that. But eventually it's just like, we don't have the money for all these different costume changes. They need to be wearing all the same clothes throughout the film. Is it okay? Or most of the same clothes throughout the film. Okay, let's just do it on one day. Wait, what's the best day to do it? Halloween. Yeah. And then, yeah.
Oh, is that why they took off their clothes because it was cheaper to film them naked?
That is a good
I wouldn't
point.
be surprised. You either have the same clothes or no clothes.
That was it. The boyfriend with the glasses, he was actually like one of the crew members, and he was just like, "Don't get dressed. It's gonna cost you."
Also, the thing with Christopher Lee, I'm not surprised because at the end of the day, obviously it's a job, and you have actors who don't take as much risk, like who's American Psycho again? Christopher Nolan. You got people like him that take risk, and then
Christian
some
Bale,
of
you
them,
mean?
Christian Bale, yeah.
Christian Bale. Sorry,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's all right.
Oh man. Anyway, he takes risk, and then they do pay off sometimes, but sometimes they can like wreck your career or make it so that you're just in really crappy films for a long time. So
It's probably,
don't
yeah,
blame them.
in hindsight, probably a good thing because he would have been in like, I don't know, 12 more sequels of this. So maybe it's a good thing he didn't.
Yeah, I wonder if that would have stained his reputation for Star Wars.
Mm, I don't know.
It's all right. He already survived Star Wars, so you know.
I think he'd become a bit of a legend in his own right. So I think he would have been put in anything.
True.
But you know, you sound about what's his name? American Psycho. What's his name? Motherfucker.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Yeah, Christian. I saw something that he basically got paid less than the the production crew to be in the film.
Really?
I'm glad he got paid less
That
than
doesn't,
people.
that doesn't
'Cause-
sound about right.
Because I don't know what I was watching. I don't know if it was something on YouTube, but basically they were saying, or it was like something I saw on Instagram. Basically, they was laughing at him because they were saying that they basically got paid more money than him, and he was the main actor.
Are we talking about
Interesting.
American Psycho?
Yeah,
Mm.
That's interesting.
Anyway,
That
back
took-
to Halloween.
That takes the piss because it wouldn't have been the director's fault because she really wanted him. She fought to have him in the film after getting fired and then getting retaken on as the director because they didn't want him. Obviously, they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio and some other folks, and she was like, "No, it has to be him." And eventually, it was just like, "All right, you can have this guy." So they let her make a few changes. So I think Christian Bale was one of them, and then the other one was his assistant. I
Christopher
think
Nolan.
she was like, she has to be the assistant or something like that.
Well, actually, Emmanuel, that actually might explain why she was allowed to have him because he was being paid less.
Maybe I guess
That could actually explain why she got away with it first. I was like, oh, okay, that would kind of make sense, I guess.
And oh man, the way he was, he was really determined with that film. I know this call is not about that film, but yeah, he was really determined. She was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be in that film." She's like, "But they're gonna take it from me." This is like before she got fired. "Nah, they're gonna give it back to you." Even when they like took her off the thing, don't worry, they'll give it back to you. They'll realize you're a much better director. She's like, "Are you serious?"
yeah, because I was watching a thing about him, and basically he said that the director was saying to him like, you know that you ain't got the film. He's like, no, that's fine. So I'll still like prepare the role, and he's like, but you haven't got the role. No, that's fine. How fucking committed do you gotta be? Fucking
It sounds like you got a lot of
Yeah,
feelings about missing that call.
me.
Well, it's not. It's not that. It's just that we were talking about a movie when talking about another movie, and this film filmed the
Inception.
movie
Inception.
was while being another movie. Do you know how many sequences of like the thing they were filming on the TV? And I was just like, did they not just literally film a TV with the thing playing, like the whole title sequence and like the 30 seconds of ads? They were just filming the TV for a good 30 seconds, right? No?
To Halloween.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. In Halloween, they were filming the thing. It makes sense.
It was actually
have-
the thing from Another World
Yeah.
because John Carpenter didn't remake that until 4 years after this. Nice bit of foreshadowing from John Carpenter.
That's the original movie that he's implying.
While you guys were talking about American Psycho, I found a little thing that's quite interesting.
Is it about Halloween?
There's a novelization of Halloween that tries to explain why Michael Myers can drive. And so the novelization basically says that when Dr. Loomis drove Michael to sanity hearings over the years, Michael simply watched very closely and carefully.
Wow, that's
Fucking bollocks.
That is-
Absolute bollocks.
that is such a fucking oh yeah, we're just gonna shoe on this idea and
I can see why they lampshaded it and then went, let's leave it there. We've drawn attention to it. Let's not go. He watched Dr. Loomis.
I would have loved that line though from Dr. Loomis. Just he must have watched me carefully and closely.
That'd have been great though. I'd love to be like Mike Myers' driving instructor, and he's just like, okay, locate the clutch, and he grabs the handbrake, and he's like, why did you grab the handbrake? And you go, because you clutch it. Yeah.
No. What he would do is he would just breathe really heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was telling a joke about what I actually did one time, but
Oh really?
yeah, it was really
Mm.
embarrassing. Anyway,
Yes.
okay,
Compelling
Simon,
stuff there.
shit on Halloween. Well,
That was
Well-
compelling stuff there.
No,
fucking shit. You're not compelling anybody.
No, I'm building Lego.
I feel like I.
Oh, what are you building?
You're building Lego?
We got some free Lego packs at work today, so I'm trying to build them up.
Nice.
What a horrible euphemism for taking a shit.
So I feel
Nah.
like I have more scenes that I dislike than I like in this film, I guess.
Yeah, Pat's getting uppity with me, so go ahead, shit on Halloween some more.
Oh, well, okay.
Hey,
Your mum.
fuck off. Shut your face.
Well,
Sound
name
like
of-
me in a film.
okay, there's one.
Carl
there's- okay,
Salmon.
I need to check one thing, right? This scene, I actually double checked from watching other like people who critiqued this movie, and I didn't know if I misheard it, but I double checked. They also critiqued this point of the film, and I'm like, that's really fucking gross. This shouldn't have been in the movie. It's when Bob and his girlfriend drove up to the house, right? And they're already drinking and like driving already. That's already bad. But then it's like, yeah, let's go inside the house. First, you rip off my clothes, then I'll rip off your clothes, then we'll rip off Lindsay's clothes, and afterwards they laugh. And I was thinking, wait, who's Lindsay? And I had to like flick back through the film and go, Lindsay, as in the fucking girl that you're babysitting. Is that the joke that you just made? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
You didn't? Yeah, I was thinking, who the fuck is Lindsay? Then I
What?
flicked back. Then it went to
What?
that scene. I was like, what the fuck did you just say?
Wait,
Did you
Wait a
just...
minute.
Oh god, that's horrible.
I thought they was referencing the other girl.
No, they said Lindsay, which is the problem. If they
Oh.
said the other girl, it would have been like one thing, right? But that's why I had to check.
The
Who
the
the
girl
fuck is
that
Lindsay? Then it went back. Then they were talking about the girl that was being babysit because it's Lindsay and the other boy is called Tommy. I would like to say,
yeah.
yeah, because they had like that sweet moment together when it's like, I believe you, Tommy. I believe there was a boogeyman outside, and it was like, oh, that's kind of sweet, I guess. But then after Bob said that line, and he's now cancelled because he can't fucking say it. That's fucking horrendous shit he could have said. He's probably joking, right? But that line did actually come out of his mouth, where it was like, fucking hell, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh man, that's all.
That's
This is the worst payoff we've ever had. After
That's-
weeks of Pat calling everyone a nonce, and now this has happened in his film.
Ah,
That's actually,
Ooh.
I didn't actually just look that up on the script. It does say Lindsay.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
That's not good.
Yeah, you really want to keep tabs on that one. Maybe don't.
it was. I'm glad he died. I'm glad he got strangled by one arm by the insanely human strength Michael Myers, then got stabbed in the chest. He deserved, like most of them, he deserved to die the most. That's it. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't
Like-
even.
Yeah.
It's clearly an accident on the part of the screenwriter, but that's bad. That's really
That's
fucking
bad. That's bad.
And well, that makes my favorite scene even better.
All
That
right,
was
him-
not a good segue. I'm gonna, yeah, that was a
Okay, no,
horrible-
yeah, Emmanuel, yeah, explain what your favorite scene was first.
Please
Yeah.
elaborate right now.
Literally the whole sequence from you see his face in silhouette, Mike Myers with slightly highlighted a mask. I thought that was good cinematography. Then he kills the guy and like he's just there on the wall. And when they just pause there and he's not moving, and it's just a great moment. He's not moving. The guy's in the wall. It's set up filmically, and I'm just like, you know what? That's a good shot.
There's-
That's a good film.
To add on to that a little bit, Emmanuel, did you notice Michael Myers like admiring his own like
Yep.
murder work?
Yeah.
I don't know because I've seen other people talk about it because essentially he's hanging there and Michael Myers is like,
Yeah, it's
"Ah."
I
It's-
took that to mean he was looking at it and going, "How the fuck is he still holding up? That's not how physics work. No way that knife is that long. That's not not a
I mean,
chance."
it's part of the reason why Dr. Loomis was just like, I actually was hoping for him to, get the death sentence, basically be killed. It's like sentenced to death. Like he was just like, this guy's effed up beyond belief. He does not like need to be alive and like on this earth. Like he needs to go.
And that's some sharp words because it's come out from Emmanuel's mouth. So you know that he really means it. But yeah, in any case, the all the death and all the scenes and all them things like with the crazy strength that Michael Myers has. Jamie Lee Curtis's character also actually had super strength because she was able to break that plane of glass that was locking the door with like that rake, right? She was able to break the glass with her open hand and go smash to move the rake away. Do you know how hard glass is for her to smack it open with her open palm? What bollocks!
I don't actually think she did that. I think she's pushing her other hand. It's really really quick, but like I think she's either doing it with her knuckle, or she has like a ring on, but like she's using both hands to shatter the glass.
Oh, okay. Because the way it looks like she looked like she just went glass here, slap, and smashes the glass through. And I was like,
she's got like this open wound. For, like,
okay. Then it makes sense because it annoys me afterwards because there's like she went to the neighbor's house and like the neighbors ignored her. I was like, you've got super strength. You can just like smash the glass on one of the neighbor's windows and just like climb through. It's easy because you've got super strength to do that.
No, you could definitely break glass like with pretty. I mean, if it was like frosted glass, yeah, no chance. But
Especially the glass back then, like single paned glass. And like you said, breaking it away, you said it. Yeah, it's not that hard. If it's cheap.
And it is like an injury that is like paid attention to. Like it is still an element as she's like running around and stuff. So like, yeah, because I questioned that as well, and like this is something I want to bring up actually because I do appreciate how much they like depict her panicking. Because like I feel like this is I could sense that this would be one where like people are anticipating me going, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do this? And I'm like, no, she's panicking. There's a lot of things that aren't quite. The obvious shit is not popping up to her like right away, and it's like she is still thinking of these things, but she is panicking, and it's like, yeah, that's all great. Like I haven't got any problem with that. Right up until the second time she thinks he's dead, and I'm like, this is already not a reliable thing. I'd hold on to the sharp shit. I'd hold on to the knife. I wouldn't turn your back on him this time.
Oh, I was gonna say that she should be given the benefit of the doubt because she was knocked over the banister and fell down the flight of stairs. So she should actually have like a twisted ankle at least, right? Because fucking hell, have you been thrown down the stairs with the banister? Yeah. That's like how the fuck.
To be honest, her head's probably been bumped too many times. I'm not surprised she left the knife a second time.
Yeah.
So it makes for a cool scene when Mike Myers just sits up coffin style. I'm just like, I almost laughed, but not because it's funny, because I'm just like, oh man, and that looks cool and funny, but this isn't funny.
See, my problem with the scene when he like goes for her. Not a fucking chance he misses. He goes from just like total Mr. Fuck your shit up, and then he's like, oh, a vulnerable crying girl and I'm behind her and it's dark and she doesn't know where anything is and I've got a knife, I'm gonna go for it. And he just completely fucking misses and like
Cuts her arm.
flashes like the opposite sides. And I was like, oh fuck, shut up.
Okay, for maybe for that scene, I could have gave it because it was like at the wrong angle, and maybe that's the other way. That's the reason why she was only able to slash her arm. I mean, her arm. But when it went to the second time, he tried to stab her on the sofa. He had the amplest chance to like just go. Oh wait, hang on, I got aim it this time. There we are. But no,
there's two separate examples of him having the absolute drop on her and just fucking it up. And it's like you weren't doing this a minute ago. You were very efficient, Mr. Killerman, right now. But now you've encountered the main character. Things have got a little bit more difficult, and it's like
maybe he couldn't
a lot weaker for me. It's kind of this is like kind of the emotional high of the film, but now we've kind of established that you can't kill the main character when she's not facing you even. And it's like, yeah, I'm not scared now. I know she's gonna get through it. This is E.T. all over again.
Ben's had enough.
I'm sorry,
no.
Ben. That's all right because he's pushed Rob back out.
So, Pat, I know that me and Alec have been unfortunately shitting on the film. Not as much as Alec has been shitting on like The Greatest Showman, right? Because like I still liked Halloween compared to him not liking The Greatest Showman. But it's just like because this is the original script and like there's a lot of like. Is this like John Carpenter's like first film?
Oh no, it's
No.
like his third or fourth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's best. Is it his first horror film?
I don't know actually. I know this started life
Hold
as a sequel to Black Christmas because
If
apparently
this was his. Oh yeah, it's gone.
no, I was just gonna say that apparently the studio approached the director of Black Christmas and they said they wanted a sequel, and he was like completely uninterested in it. But he was friends with John Carpenter, and John Carpenter was like, "Oh, I've got this idea about how the killer escapes from the mental asylum and this and this and this." And the director was like, "Yeah, you know what? We can pitch it if you want to. I don't really care." So they pitched this idea, and the studio could see that the director couldn't care less. So they were like, "There's no point doing this." And then John Carpenter just carried on developing it, and what was the sequel to Black Christmas turned into the script for Halloween.
Oh, okay. Because
Go on.
no, go on. What you could tell us?
The two films he did before this was Assault on Precinct 13 and Dark Star.
Oh yeah, Salt and Printed.
So, but they weren't horror movies, were they?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Dark Star might have been.
No, Dark Star is Dark. Somebody should pick Dark Star. It's a sci-fi that he made while he was still in college, and like it's so low budget that they have to use like beach balls and shit for special effects.
Oh, nice. But no, I was gonna say this is his first proper horror film. Maybe he didn't. He was still learning the ropes of like horror writing, anyways. So I was like, okay, you could like give him like a chance because he had his idea and he set up his idea. It's just like, oh, but you didn't think about it completely, and that's why this doesn't make sense, and that doesn't work there. And then also you have that very shoestring budget that you can't really work with. But it's like, it's fine because he spent all of his money on the music, and the music is the thing that's still played in like concerts nowadays.
Do you know half of the budget actually was just the cameras that they used?
What?
Yeah, because he wanted to use Panavision cameras for the aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And he just spent all of his money on the cameras in the film.
Yeah, he spent like 160 grand on the cameras and like 20 grand on the guy operating them.
I mean, to be honest, it made a difference, and it made them a buttload of money.
A
'Cause-
buttload.
One buttload.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, Ben. Why is your name often Austin Powers?
He's Michael Myers, isn't
Myers,
he?
get it?
Oh,
Movie, baby.
I forgot about that.
You watched Baby Driver. You saw this joke.
I forgot it because I probably didn't like the joke.
Oh,
No, it's just
Okay.
because I just could care less about Austin Powers. It's a good joke.
Oh,
It's the only film in Film Club that hasn't been finished because Emmanuel didn't want it.
Oh,
Oh,
poor
great.
John.
Too much.
It's all right. It was a John pick. John picked it.
So, what did you like about this movie, Emmanuel? What was your favorite scene?
You said.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you did, didn't you? Fuck. Who else
Yeah.
has not actually said favorite scenes then?
I don't know if I have a favourite scene so much. I more have like a favourite aspect of the film, and it's just all of the really long shots down the streets and stuff. Because it's like the best ones are the ones where Michael Myers isn't there. Because you're kind of just, well, I find myself just sitting there, just like looking around every corner, like, oh my god, where is he? And it's just like it really freaks me out in like a sort of like, I don't know, I suppose on a sort of like evolutionary level. Like I'm kind of going like something's not right. I don't like this, man. But yeah, that's my favorite part of it all. I think because I don't know, there's something really cool to me about horror that can scare you when it's daylight, and this just nails that.
I mean, has there been a good horror movie that was during the daytime?
It's a good question.
That is a good question.
Just like-
Some of
Is someone Googling it? That's fucking
A Tale of
hilarious.
Two Sisters.
Yeah, I am googling it.
I feel
Have there
that
been
that's
any
like
good horror films in the daytime?
the thing might count if like the daytime is literally perpetual day. in
Oh,
terms of light.
Jaws. To be fair,
Yes, yeah. John.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Does
Alien,
all of
that's
it have to be
daytime on
in
another planet.
daytime?
Well, the horror aspects of it have to be during, but like when the sun is out, or it wouldn't really make
Okay.
sense if you know what I mean.
A Tale
yeah,
of Two Sisters, it has horror aspects at both times of the day.
yeah,
I've
that's a
not
good shout.
actually watched that yet. Oh, because I'll double check that. Okay, cool. That makes
That's
sense.
a
I'd say
great film.
the scariest scene of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in the day as well.
Yeah.
When the
Hmm.
final girl is like going off on the back of the truck.
Oh, yeah, okay,
that is a
that's
great
okay.
one.
That's a fair argument. Yeah.
Because when he grabs her, the
Yeah.
girl, when she's runs out the door and he grabs her from behind and pulls her back in, that's in the daytime.
And he's got the chainsaw holding it up like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a brilliant recreation of the scene. Man.
Maybe think it's Chewbacca.
Like chewing.
See, I thought like I was talking about Halloween with some other kids at work, and like I think it kind of there's been a bit of cultural confusion because I said, "Oh, I'm watching Halloween for film club this week," and one of them went, "Oh yeah, Leatherface," and I went, "No, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre," and he went, "Yeah, same thing," and I was like, "No,
Not quite.
it's not the same thing." I
They
don't
murdered, that's
particularly like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I'm glad.
Where do you work?
Mhm.
But he said it was similar. It was the same as what?
I'm gonna
He
kill
said
him.
Halloween was basically. He said Michael Myers was basically the same thing as Leatherface.
No.
They
How
just
could you do
murdered
this?
anything that
Yeah.
happened.
I feel like
Michael Myers-
that's.
So much fucking better.
I feel like it's like saying, "Oh yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, you know the one that has Jason in it." And I'd be like, "Are you sure you know your horror movies?" I feel
Yeah.
like you're just making shit up just to like fit in with the crowd. It's just like no,
Yeah,
it's not.
exactly. It's like, oh, Jason and Freddy, they're the same thing. They're not.
where they were in the Versus movie together, and I don't want to pick that because holy shit, that was bad. And that's like, oh Jesus, even I have some standards. Ooh.
It made me laugh though, that film. I was
What
like,
did?
"Ooh,
What film?
that's Freddy versus
Freddy versus
Jason."
Jason.
Oh,
You picked
dear.
Boa versus Python.
I picked that because I knew that was shit. That film thinks it's hot shit, but it's still bad. That's what I'm saying.
I think the film's pretty decent, to be fair.
It's quite funny, right? But it's just like I know what happens, and I found it funny. Like I laughed once or twice during like that first viewing. I don't want to watch it again. And like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, don't.
If you
That
can
film
pick Boa
gets me.
versus Python, you can pick Freddy versus Jason.
I'm not going.
Oh, don't.
If I get another like chance to do another like double feature, maybe. No.
Next round.
But no, my shared or borrowed double feature from John's round will be good films. Don't worry. Shit. Anyone else for favorite scenes?
I haven't done one yet, but I'm also not sure what I'd say.
I would.
Don't let that stop you, man.
Okay, I'll do my one as.
Oh,
do
well-
my one. Oh, you've gone. Oh, do you have one? Do you have one?
No.
All right.
Wow.
My one's very quick. My one is the ending sequence
That's a good choice.
because it's like, all right, you shot 6 times. Afterwards, like, okay, it's finally over. Over to the balcony. He's gone. I was like, oh shit, it's not over. Then music starts playing, heavy breathing, and like then afterwards, all that empty houses. But are the houses empty? You won't know because Michael could be around the corner. But it's like that.
Sorry, Simon.
Oh, I was gonna say that establishes like the horror aspect for like sequels. Well, the good sequels, but but it establishes the horror aspect of like the character. That did you kill him? Are you sure you killed him? Yes, and it builds up again, and it's like, oh, that leaves like that eerie feeling of like that heavy breathing, where he could literally, he could be behind you. It's like it's just that thing, and I think that is actually gotta give it a point to that for that production. It really builds up what you've tried to build up the whole film, that he could still be around right now. And that's cool. That's you gotta give it points.
That's a great choice, man. That's a really good choice because that's kind of like what I was saying about those long shots, because you kind of have that sigh of relief because it's all over, and then you see all those empty properties, and it's like, oh, it might not be there. And you're doing that same thing of like, oh, is he in a window? Is he gonna like pop out from somewhere? And like, is he still there in some form? And I really love that because it's just, yeah. But I don't want to take away the point that you've given it for that reason. But that whole thing nearly didn't exist because when they shot the film, it was never going to be part of it apparently, and so they didn't account for it. And the only reason it exists is because the studio that they were working in had loads of cut-ins from other films, so they just took them and then they managed to put a montage together of empty properties from it.
Oh,
Wait, what? What existed?
So those empty properties that you see at the end of the film, they weren't shot for this film. They were just random offcuts from other films.
So it
cool.
was a happy
That's
accident
resourceful.
sort of film.
Yeah.
That's great though. Because when you, I
Like
actually
blowouts.
I actually enjoy it more knowing that it was a happy accident because because it seems so purposeful. It goes, no, it's just like a happy accident. It helps. Yeah, I feel like it gives the movie a bit of its like soul and its character. Those happy little accidents that you don't expect to happen, but it works so well. But it blends amazingly together. So it
Yeah.
actually makes me happier to know that scene. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you to be honest. Like I said it when we was doing the Quiet Family call as well, but I really like it when sort of like inexperienced filmmakers just make something, and like there's always problems with it, and there's always things that you can sort of like tell that it's made by an inexperienced filmmaker because of. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the sort of like unpolished soul of it, and yeah.
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 I might have found my favorite scene. I think it's when Dr. Loomis decides that he's gonna scare some kids by hiding behind the bush.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised no one's talked about that scene now.
He's clearly very fucking happy about it. He's like, it's
Hate this,
and then-
kids.
and then he turns around and the sheriff's there and he's like, all right, and he goes, yes, no, Michael Myers is a demon, and he's terrible. But I feel like he's got to immediately go from to yeah, no, it's really important. We get this guy. Yeah, he's very dangerous.
He fucking shits his pants because he doesn't realize he's there, and he's like, oh.
What a great character. Enjoy that.
I mean, it wasn't a good character because he parked in the disabled bay.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. He's
Oh.
fucking trench coat. No, the only other thing I wanted to say about was like he I don't want to bring up a
Go on.
he like he's waiting outside the Myers house for like quite a while, and then we don't see him for a bit, and then a bunch of stuff happens, and then we cut back, and he looks over the street and he sees like the official government car, and he goes, "Oh." And then he just walks off, and it's like, okay. And then he catches up with the sheriff, and he goes, "Yeah, Mike Myers is parked over there, like 3 blocks down." And I was like, 3 blocks down? Holy fuck! You're so far away.
So
the next time we see him, he like sees Lindsay and Tommy running out of the house, and he goes, "Oh, that must be where Michael is." And then that's what enables him to save like the Jamie Lee Curtis. But if he went the other direction, 3 blocks down, the other way, wouldn't have got there. You'd have been.
Oh.
Jamie Lee Curtis would have been.
Actually, that's not 100% correct, I guess.
Your mum's not 100% correct.
Fuck you! But in any case,
Seems like she is to me.
it would have made sense because he told the police officer that happened to be driving back behind him, goes, no, Michael is just like 3 blocks down. He goes, you drive on this side of the road, and I will walk on this side of the road, so we'll like circle around, so we'll definitely see him. That's like, so it's not really a contrivance, but it's like, all right, it's coincidental because if he didn't see Michael Myers or Tommy and Lindsay running out of the house, the police officer guy would have seen them. So it's like, is it a bit contrived, kind of, but not completely, because the police officer with the gun would have seen them, or the doctor with the gun would have seen them.
Fair enough. I have boosted my story score from a 5 to a 5.5.
Emmanuel, what's up?
You're so generous.
Fucking hell. Last of the big spenders.
Emmanuel?
Sorry, I'm
Don't start my
I'm
script.
going to bed now.
Oh,
I know, can't wait.
okay.
Do you want to do your film, Simon, before Emmanuel?
Yeah,
goes?
you better.
Damn it, because I can't. I was trying to use. I was going to use like.
You don't have to. I'll
No,
find out.
Can't really. It doesn't work on my screen anymore. Damn it. But
I think he's just going. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
just go. I'll
Bye,
post
William.
it. I'll post it.
See you
in a
later,
second.
man.
See you, man.
Bye, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye. What was I saying?
Simon, announce your film. I would, but actually, I need the velvet curtain. And I
No,
need-
it's because Dan has that fucking pumpkin right there.
It's all
And
Dan's
I
fault.
wanted to like place my head where the pumpkin would be for the sequence of what my film is.
Oh, that's a
Because-
great idea.
Oh.
Because it would have been so perfect, but I can't like switch the screens around.
Wait, I might be able to do it for
if the
you.
screens are like switched around, it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because
Does that
it
work?
changes on the YouTube channel anyways. But it doesn't matter. So my film, I was discussing this with Rob, right? We were gonna choose like our Halloween hangover film. And I was thinking, oh wait, it's gonna be November. And I could choose like V for Vendetta. But I was like, oh wait, no. Ben's obviously chosen that, right? Choice, Ben, good choice. But it's like, so what is like a Halloween movie that's not really a Halloween movie, but it's still kind of scary and funny. So I was in between two choices, but the choice I eventually chose was Sleepy Hollow, the Johnny Depp one, which is a good film. It's a pretty good film, right? But I was like, oh right, Dan's got the pumpkin. I could like pretend to be grabbing the pumpkin and be hit. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But like the Johnny Depp Sleepy Hollow, which is 1999, is what I want to say.
Oh, is it really as early as that? I thought it was 2000 and something.
No, I don't even know if it was that late.
Wait, what year was it?
Hold on.
I thought it
I'm
was
gonna have a look now.
But
find
it-
out.
in any case, I checked. It's on Amazon, obviously, but I
Yeah,
think
99.
it's still on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on
You
Netflix,
can-
yeah.
It is on Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah, you can watch it on Netflix. Fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sleepy Hollow was gonna be my pick for our Halloween hangover.
Nice. I haven't seen it for so long. I think
Haven't?
the last time, well, I was saying that the last time I saw it was when it came out, but I obviously didn't see it when I was 9.
I haven't seen it since the TV show.
I didn't realise there was a TV
right,
show.
yeah. Actually, like
Yeah, there
I
was,
felt like the TV show
The T-
wasn't.
The TV show was decent. It's nowhere near what I enjoyed about the film, but I quite like the TV show as well.
Hmm.
I always
I
remember
remember
watching
having it
like
on
a
DVDs.
Disney cartoon version of Sleepy Hollow slightly.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? I never saw that.
But like,
That's another one to take off my list.
yeah, Sleepy Hollow, the Johnny Depp one. That's what my pick is, and that's should be our Halloween hangover before we do
Nice.
next round.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's hope they don't
back to
delete it.
favorite scenes. Has everyone done this?
I think we have, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think I. Yeah.
Halloween is sort of like, it's a film that I can't really say that I had a favorite scene for, because I enjoyed the whole process equally. Like, you could say like the end sequence, which was pretty darn good. If I was to go for an opening scene, it was a favorite scene. It'd be the opening scene
Really?
when he sort of makes his escape, because it sort of
Oh.
sets the whole thing. I always get quite excited when I watch the opening scene.
Hmm.
Oh, when he smashes the window.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
when he jumps onto the car, smashes the window with his again open palm, smashes that glass, and like drags that lady out or some shit. Right? Yeah, that's
Something I find quite funny about that scene is that in order to smash the window, they taped a what do you call it, a spanner to his palm, and to conceal it, they painted it flesh color, but you can still see it. It's very clearly there still.
Yeah, I think Pat's right. I think one of my favorite scenes is like the opening, just because of the setup and how it's shot in POV, and you think, oh, it's just some generic thing going on here, but then the twist of him being Michael Myers as a kid, just with the holding the knife, is so powerful, and it's like, wow, you can't predict what this film could be, because it's quite original in terms of how it's set up straight
Oh.
away. That this is something that hasn't been done before.
I thought Pat was talking about the escape scene where he steals the car.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about the very, very intro, but either way, they're good.
The Halloween when it begins is pretty good. It's only when it goes into that long stretch in the middle that it goes, oh, the ending's coming. All right, pick it up.
Also,
Fine.
sort of where Michael is sort of stalking Laurie, I remember when I was younger, I used to get sort of like a really bad feeling about it. Like you sort of get a chill down your spine kind of thing.
Okay.
Did you guys ever get that?
Oh, I get it every time.
Yeah, so that was like another scene or another set of scenes that I quite like.
Where, as in, like when he's like watching her from the car.
Well, no,
Or
from the
like-
moment she knocks on the house or goes to the house, and then he's basically set his sights on her, and then sort of like she's in the classroom, she looks out the window, sees him across there. When he drives past her, just sort of giving keys that he's set her as his main target.
Oh, right. Okay, I get what. Oh, yeah, I get what you you mean now. It's like
Yeah.
like the first like introduction of them meeting,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh right, okay, yeah, I see it. All right, because and it builds from there. Yeah, I guess that's true because it slowly builds up from there. But again, as I was complaining for the whole bit, the process took a bit of a while to actually get to that bit. And it's like, it's a bit
I
of a
think I
shrug.
got this bit backwards because I think the whole middle bit is all the tension building bit, and then the end when he can't stab Laurie when she has her back to him. That's the bit where I go, okay, wrap it up. I really don't find like any of this stuff boring where like you're seeing these simple scenes like play out between characters, but you're always looking to see where Michael is. Like, I don't find any of that shit boring. But
Alec has spoken.
yeah, you're a fucking idiot. No, you're fine. You're okay. Oh, made it awkward. I found that all very, very tense and very cool. Anyway, I hate Tim Burton. Yeah.
Ah,
Everyone else loves him, so don't worry, Sam.
So, any like final thoughts?
No.
Open.
Halloween is the be all and end all.
Wow. I do love it, but I don't know if it's that.
It's not a fridge, is it?
Well, I think that's what I said. But I think that's what I said on the Back to the Future call as well. When Dan was like flawless time travel, and I was like, I don't know if it's that. But I do love it.
I was joking.
No, you weren't.
It's flawless. Like the fact that people's pictures just fucking disappear.
I'll be honest, watching this, I kind of was tempted to go through a year of just picking slashers.
Oh, stop it.
Poor Alex.
For this exact reaction.
Poor Alex.
Why?
Did Tim Burton do any slashers?
I suppose Sleepy Hollow and
Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd are the
Oh,
closest.
I ain't
ones.
picking that shit.
Followed
Don't worry, I
again.
will.
Yeah, I'd quite happily pick Sweeney Todd, to be fair.
Oh, fuck.
That's your punishment for picking slashers, Pat.
Want more
Oh.
shitty slashers like you're next? Find me crap.
With Sleepy Hollow, Simon, you've made Tim Burton our joint top most picked director.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, who was I forgot his name now. Is it the Korean guy who's the second most picked?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've now got 3 directors tied for most picked. There's Steven Spielberg, Bong Joon-ho, and Tim Burton.
How many is
Okay.
that?
4.
4 each. Oh, that's not too bad.
Hmm.
Wait, who's
Makes
the
me
most
deeply fucking unhappy.
recurring actor?
That's
Kang
Song Kang-ho.
Okay, I was thinking, is it Nicolas Cage? I was like, no, it's still the Korean dude, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it would be Nicolas Cage if if Emmanuel didn't pick 4 films with Song Kang-ho.
Are you
Who
trying
is
to
the
say
mission?
that I now need to pick
Pick a
another
Nick-
Nick Cage film?
Oh, you
I
do.
have one.
I've
in
got
most
a long
certainly-
list.
Most certainly wasn't what I was trying to say, but you'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Pick one.
I tried to pick one a year.
Not Ghost Rider, please.
Oh, yeah.
What
Actually, yeah,
robot?
you're right, Pat. You have picked 1 Nicolas Cage film a year so far.
I quite like Ghost Rider, actually.
Next one might be
Oh,
What's that?
that's-
Face Off.
Oh, I thought you were saying 4.
No, Face Off.
okay.
Phase 4.
Forehead.
All right.
4 faces.
4 worms.
Oh, I'd pick 4 rooms.
Oh, is 2023 just going to be Tim Burton and Nick Cage?
And slashes, yes.
Or my next film will be Gone at 12:18.
Gone at 12:18.
Gone in 60
Oh,
seconds.
right, I see.
Uh,
I think you're killing Alex.
No, you're the Count from the Muppet.
there is a
Uh,
bit.
I just can't. I can't take this. I can't take a fucking year of slashers.
Well, you are free to pick whatever you want.
I know, but you're also free to pick what you want, and that's the trouble.
I'm gonna pick Chopping Mall.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Pick
I would-
what?
Chopping Mall.
Chopping more.
Never heard of that.
Oh god. Oh.
Yeah. Some
Oh.
people, they get a knife and then they stab some horny teens.
No. It's better than that. It's
It's
Killer-
better than that. Get out of it.
killer robots in a mall. It's so fucking
Is
ridiculous.
there more or
No, that's pretty much it.
just that?
Killer robots in a mall.
Just to reiterate.
I watched
They're in
it
the
with
wall and they're robots.
I watched it with Coral when I was on holiday. I was just like, what the fuck is this film?
Holiday.
Killer robots in a mall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you'd love a recurring actress.
Who's in it?
It's the woman, the you know the
Song
mum in
Kang-ho.
no no, you know the mum in You're Next.
Oh, God.
No, you said actress.
Yeah, the mum.
No, she didn't act.
All right. God,
You call me a cunt.
I said God.
Oh.
He's talking about himself.
Oh shit.
Very unhappy.
I'm pretty happy with the score for this film.
Yeah, well, it's done all right. I expected my score to be higher, to be honest. But I do still love it.
I thought
To
it
be
was
fair, 8.9 is high for you.
Yeah.
When I saw you give it a 10, I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought-
I do love it, but it's just, I don't know. It seems sillier as a 32-year-old.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it to its detriment, but yeah.
I think it's just a product. Oh, it's because it's from the 70s, and most 70s films are a bit. It's a bit silly.
Plus, it's a slasher. I don't think you can really make a non-silly slasher.
Because you're supposed to like sympathize with the characters in some way. So when they get killed, you're like, oh my god, this is terrible. Whereas like most 70s slashers, they're so stupidly camp or stupid that you're just like, no, you deserve to die.
We haven't had a comedy in ages.
Most of Alex films, isn't it?
Well, technically, Lilo and Stitch was the comedy.